Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming. Um, Hello to all our stakeholders and organizational leaders and all team leads from all cardiology departments and entities. Thank you very much for taking the time, Cardiac Lab, Cath Lab, as well as the Surgical Center and all leadership that are involved. So, what we're talking about today is how we are improving patient experience and encouraging our patients to let them know that we are here for them and we are a part of what they are trying to do. And as far as making it a smooth transition from pre-op, during the procedure, and post-op, step down on the way home. So, one of the things that we talked about was putting together some ideas of some get well cards, some encouraging things that we can present to families. And in your handouts, you see some different examples of actual kits that you're able to look at and kind of put together because we definitely want to hear your feedback on all of these. So we have some different, just some simple cards. It just depends on what your expertise and what, speaks to you. We have some little kits where you can kind of put some projects together, make it a little bit more creative. Some of us are a little bit more creative savvy, but we definitely have some different ideas of what to present to our families and what you can incorporate in your team, just showing some love to our families and just more support and increasing the patient experience. And so we passed out some patient experience surveys to some of our families as we are incorporating this project of increasing patient experience. As you can see, some of those questions are: what surgical procedures does your child have today? Rate your experience. With the medical staff in the past 12 months, because some of our families have had multiple procedures. Did you experience anxiety, disconnect with the care being provided? If yes, explain, because we want their feedback. We want to know, how can we improve? Because even though we feel like, oh, we're doing great, we can always do better. There's always room for improvement. Based on their completed experience with the medical facility as a visit, was it better or worse than the last previous ones? Like, did we do better? Did we do worse? How can we improve, and how can we expand on improving? And what advice do you feel will be helpful to new parents and patients on their first experience? How can we improve on the care that we provide to families that this is their first experience? So we talked to some specific families. So Carson's mom, she had to say that, she was not really prepared that their child would be intubated and how long the procedure was going to be. There was not a lot of communication. And she should have been better informed about the process. And so, we take that into account. How can we better inform families? Because this was not an emergency procedure. So more information could have been provided to the mom to help her feel more comfortable and reassured. Daniel's parents are new parents. He was a 27-weeker. So everything that happened with him was not expected, not what they prepared themselves on a new birth. He had to be intubated. He had a lot of different medical issues. It was a lot of stressors. And as medical professionals, we have our routines. But we have to remember that what is routine for us is not routine for these families. So we definitely have to help them feel more comfortable, relax. We have to come to their level and bring them to where we need for them to be, to have the best understanding, to make sure that we are communicating in the best way that we can, to increase that patient experience and make it more positive and less stressful for them. When it came to RJ's mom, we tweaked some things. We were able to be mindful about the care that we were providing. And so we were able to meet them where they were And even though RJ's mom was a medical professional, RJ's dad was not. So we were able to make sure that they had a better understanding of their experience and what was going on. Another thing that we have to be mindful of, as with Quisha's mom, Quisha has special needs. She was born special needs. So she has had a long history as being 27 years old now. So she still receives a lot of cardiac care and different things, procedures. And so understanding what her needs are and having a plan in place when she comes in, whether it's an emergency procedure for urgent care or is something that's routine or elective to improve her health and wellness. We have to be mindful of the care that she needs in reducing her anxiety as a nonverbal patient and making sure that mom understands that we are going to do everything we can to maintain her normal regimen. Joshua's, he is what we call a frequent flyer. We see him quite often, mostly for respiratory and seizure issues and GI issues. So when he came in, he was in really respiratory distress on his most recent experience, and he coded. So it was all hands on deck. A lot of stuff was going on, a lot of movement in the room, a lot of talking. So to be able to have a team member that was with the family, kept them close so they could view, but informed them on what was going on, helped them to be more informed on what was happening, which made their experience so much better for them. And so one of the things that we take into account after going over some of the surveys is the info sheet, as you have an example in your folder packet. Just some information to say, this is what's going on. This is what's happening with your family. This is the estimated time that it's going to take for this procedure. Someone is going to be assigned to you. These are the faces with the names, so you know who your provider is, who is going to be a part of your surgery, who your circulator is going to be, and who your nurse is going to be that you're going to receive at the end. That way we're kind of unmasking ourselves and saying, this is a name with the face. So that's information during times when we might not be able to do a face-to-face. It might not have went the way that we planned, but at least this is my person. This is who helped me. So when you run across them in the hallway or out in public, oh my God, you're the one that was with my baby during their procedure, and I thank you. So that way they're able to do that. And on the back of your sheets, you'll be able to see that there is lines, and each one of them get that on kind of like a little welcome clipboard. So they're able to turn over and write some questions. So when that circulator calls them at the 1.5 hour mark, they're able to say, oh my gosh, I just had a quick question. Do you think that they're going to do this? What about this? How is this going on? Or whatever. Then we're able to give them the best answers that we can for them. So that reassures them, that helps them, or they can ask these questions at the end to help them better prepare. And we're just being mindful. So as we're moving forward, we want to increase our technology, increase the quality of the patient experience. We're listening. These surveys are not just for fun. We're listening to what our patients are saying. So another example that we want to eventually incorporate is the Ease app or similar apps, looking into what is going to be the best fit for CHOA. But the Ease app gives you information where we can send information that is being circulated from your provider, from your team. Your surgical team is giving you updates via text because maybe you can't be in the waiting room. Maybe you're not nearby, but you want to know what's going on and seeing how your loved one is processing through. So that's how we're improving on our communication. And knowing our families needs help us to reach them better. What are they saying? What do they want to see? And as you can see, I'm not going to go over all of them, but you're able to read some of the many comments that have come from our staff and our family so we can make sure that we're staying connected. and how we're responding to them and following up with them with different different postcards or different cards, and how we're saying, hey, we're your surgical team, we were with your team, we were with your family, it was amazing, thank you so very much for allowing me to take care of your loved one. And just letting them know, just more ideas of staying connected. So even though we're masked up and we're staying protected during this pandemic, we're doing everything we can to put a name with the face, so they know that this person is who, this smiling face is taking care of my baby. Now I might not see their smile, but I know their smiles exist, and my job is to just be able to be relaxed and knowing this person is taking care of my child, my family member. And then just following up with those personal cards, just saying, in every language that we're meeting, who's the best, you're the best, get well soon, thank you for allowing me to care for your loved one, they were amazing. So we're letting them know that your child did amazing during the procedure, and we thank you for trusting us with your child. And in order for that, we have to be, in order for us to make those connections, we also have to be mindful of how stressful these times can be, whether they are elective surgeries or whether they are emergency surgeries that we weren't prepared for upon birth. Just like my previous patient, Daniel's family did not know he was going to be that early. They did not know that he was going to be a 27-weeker as their first child, being young parents. So we have to take into account where they are and what they're experiencing. And taking that into account and being mindful of that, we are able to do everything that we can that's within our power to work on the stress management of them and helping them to decompress and helping them to have a better understanding of what's going on. So that way, when they're less stressed, they're able to receive the information that we're giving on the care that is being provided. And just, many factors take into account when there is surgery, and being mindful of that helps us to be better providers, better connected with our families, and have a better understanding. And, frequent flyers and families that this is their first time, the stress level is different, but it's still stress just the same. And having an understanding of that is the most important thing to understand. Communication is key. And that starts with us. As we are connecting with our team, our leaders, you are the leaders. You are leading your team. So being able to best communication is the key to a team success. Leadership is about quality communication and understanding and, maintaining confidentiality when you are supporting your team members as individuals and as a group, and hearing them when they're letting you know, I need support, I need help. And that is important. And when you know that your leader has your back or is going to find ways for us to be able to maintain, it trickles down to the care that we provide to our families. And in knowing the difference between two types of families, healthcare teams are better able to understand their needs. Effective team dynamic is important in preparing in advance of need of these types of medical procedures. This takes proficient leadership to understand the population that is being served and how to teach their teams to best implement therapeutic nursing care and medical care of our healthcare teams as a whole. It takes a team. No one person can do it by themselves. Efficient healthcare with quality, safe practices improves patient experience and the organization's bottom line. And I know we want to have a great bottom line. And I thank you very much.